author Alice Walker that won the 1983 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction and the National Book Award for Fiction. The novel has been the target of censors on several occasions and appeared on the American Library Association's list of the 100 most challenged books from 2000 to 2010 at number 17 for its sometimes explicit content, especially in terms of violence. In 2003, the book was listed in the BBC's The Big Read poll of the UK's best-loved novels. The novel has been adapted into various media, including feature films in 1985 and 23, a 2005 musical, and the 2008 BBC Radio 4 radio program Woman's Hour. Plot: Celie, a poor African-American girl, lives in rural Georgia in the early 1900s. She writes letters to God because her father, Alfonso, beat and raped her. After the rape, she gives birth to 2 children, Olivia and Adam, but Alfonso takes them away. A farmer identified as Mr. Arashoro proposes to marry her sister Nettie, but Alfonso gives Celie to him instead. Celie is abused by Mr. and by his own children. Nettie runs away and stays with Celie, but Mr. eventually takes her away after she rejects his unwanted advances. Nettie promises to write, but Celie never receives any letters, and Celie concludes that she is dead. His son, Harpo, marries a determined girl named Sophia. Celie is impressed by Sophia's self-respect, but he reprimands Harpo for what he sees as weakness in his treatment of Sophia. In a moment of jealousy, Celie tells Harpo to hit Sophia. Sophia fights back and confronts Celie, who apologizes and confides in her about his mistreatment. Shug Avery, a jazz and blues singer and Mr.'s longtime lover, moves in. Celie cares for Shug, who is ill. Shug is initially rude to Celie, but the two become friends, and Celie becomes infatuated with Shug. Frustrated by Harpo's overbearing behavior, Sophia moves out, taking the children with her. A few months later, Harpo opens a cabaret where a now fully recovered Shug performs nightly. Shug begins an affair with Mr. Shug learns that Mr. is beating Celie and vows to stay at the house until she is convinced he will stop. Shug and Celie grow closer, and Celie tells Shug that she has never had an orgasm. Shug convinces Celie to look at her vagina in the mirror and teaches her about the clitoris. Sophia returns to visit and quarrels with Squeak, Mary Agnes, Harpo's new girlfriend. She quarrels with the mayor's wife, Millie, and after being slapped by the mayor, she fights back. She is beaten by the police and sentenced to 12 years in prison. Squeak tricks the warden, her white uncle, into releasing Sophia from prison and forcing her to work as Millie's maid. The plan works, but the warden rapes Squeak. Sophia is released from prison and forced to work for Millie, which she hates. Squeak takes care of Sophia's children, and the two women become friends. Shug returns to town, recently married to a man named Grady. Celie confesses to Shug that her father raped her. While both husbands are out, Celie and Shug have sex for the first time. Together, they learn that Mr. has been hiding letters from Nettie for years. In the letters, Nettie says that she befriended a missionary couple, Samuel and Corinne, and traveled to Africa with them. Samuel and Corinne unwittingly adopted Adam and Olivia. Through Samuel's story of the adoption, Nettie learns that Alfonso is her and Celie's stepfather. Their biological father was executed, and their mother subsequently suffered a mental breakdown, which Alfonso took advantage of. Nettie confesses to Samuel and Corinne that she is the children's biological aunt. Corinne, who is gravely ill, refuses to believe Nettie until Nettie reminds her that she has met Celie before. Corinne then dies, having accepted Nettie's story. Celie visits Alfonso, who confirms Nettie's story. Celie confides in Shug that she is losing her faith in God. Shug explains his unique religious philosophy to Celie. Celie, Shug, and Squeak decide to leave town. Celie curses Mr. before leaving. They settle in Memphis, Tennessee. Celie starts a clothing business. Alfonso dies. Celie inherits the land that should have belonged to her and Nettie because it belonged to her biological parents. She returns to her childhood home. Celie is devastated when Shug falls in love with Jermaine, a member of her band. Shug travels with Jermaine, writing postcards to Celie. Celie vows to love Shug, even if Shug does not return her feelings. Celie learns that Mr. is in serious financial trouble and begins calling him by his first name, Albert. Mr. suggests they marry in spirit and body, but Celie refuses. Nettie and Samuel marry and prepare to return to America. Before leaving, Adam marries Tashi, an African girl. According to tradition, Tashi undergoes female genital mutilation and facial scarring. To show sympathy, Adam undergoes the same facial scarring. When Celie realizes she is satisfied without Shug, Shug returns, ending his relationship with Jermaine. Nettie, Samuel, Olivia, Adam, and Tashi go to Celie's house. Nettie and Celie reunite after 30 years, introducing each other to their families. Critical reception. The Color Purple won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1983, making Walker the first Black woman to win the prize for fiction. In 1950, Gwendolyn Brooks won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Walker also won the National Book Award for Fiction in 1983. Mel Watkins of the New York Times Book Review wrote that it was a striking and beautifully written novel, praising its powerful emotional impact and epistolary structure. It was also named a PBS Great American Read Top Pick. The book received closer scrutiny amid controversy surrounding the release of the film adaptation in 1985. The controversy centered around its depiction of Black men, which some critics saw as perpetuating stereotypical narratives of Black male violence, while others found the depiction compelling and relatable. On November 5, 2019, BBC News listed The Color Purple among the 100 most influential novels. Censorship in the United States. While the novel has received critical acclaim, it has also been the subject of controversy. The American Library Association included it in its list of the top 100 banned and challenged books in the United States from 1980 to 1989, 2000 to 2009, and 2010 to 2019, 50, as well as its top 10 books for 2007 and 2009. Commonly cited reasons for banning the book include sexual content, foul language, violence, and homosexuality. Adaptations, main articles, The Color Purple, 1985 film, The Color Purple, musical, and The Color Purple, 2023 film. The novel was adapted into a 1985 film of the same name. The film was directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Whoopi Goldberg as Celie, Danny Glover as Albert, and Oprah Winfrey as Sophia. Although nominated for 11 Academy Awards, the film did not win any. This snub was controversial, as many critics, including Roger Ebert, considered it the best film of the year. On December 1, 2005, a musical adaptation of the novel and film with lyrics and music by Stephen Bray, Brenda Russell, and Ali Willis, and a screenplay by Marsha Norman, opened at the Broadway Theater in New York City. The play was produced by Scott Sanders, Quincy Jones, Harvey Weinstein, and Oprah Winfrey, who was also an investor. In 2008, BBC Radio 4 broadcast a radio adaptation of the novel in 10 15-minute episodes as the Woman's Hour series, with Nadine Marshall as Celie, Nikki Amuka-Bird, Nina Sosanya, and Eamon Walker. The script was written by Patricia Kumper, and in 2009, the play received a Silver Screen Award from the Sony Radio Academy. In 2018, Warner Brothers announced that they would release a new film adaptation of The Color Purple, based on the musical. Spielberg and Quincy Jones returned to produce this version, along with the stage musical's producers Scott Sanders and Oprah Winfrey. The film premiered on 25 December 2023